Hey, welcome to Still Sober with John Raven. If you're a sober person, hope you're staying sober. If you're not a sober person, hope you're staying sane. Um, I don't know if you've ever had a puppy, but it's funny to me to see the uh, the habitual patterns to start figuring out. Like, okay, she's starting to get bitey, and she's really like fussy, or like the increase of biting and wanting to bite your shoes and bite your hands, you're like, it's about to be nap time. Got to ride this out. Got to figure this out. And just now, she had wanted to go outside, and I took her outside. I was like, "Are we going to do a walk?" And no, she wanted to just sit and eat dirt, leaves, and shit. She's just like, and I'm like, "No, we got to like walk around, see if you need to pee." Trying to get you to learn to pee outside, poop outside, and man, just did not want to do anything. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to pick you up then. And she's like, no, and bite, bite, bite. And I'm like, God. I bring her inside, chastise her for biting me. I was like, no, stop. And stern, stern voice. And the look of just like, just fuck you, and then immediately walked to her bed and passed out and fell asleep. just, just like, you don't let me do anything, God, and then just fell asleep. And it's like, damn, all right. So I'll catch you after your nap, I guess. Puppies, man. There may be some of you who think that dentistry is a racket. And I think there is some aspects of it that is a racket. There are some just hey, like nothing's going on, and they're like, oh no, you've got some cavities. Maybe you do have some cavities. Maybe you don't. Some of that. Um, I went through several different specialists, which one of them, or like the first dentist I went to, said I needed to get a deep cleaning of my teeth and quoted me pricing, did not give me any more specifics, was like, yep, this is just what you need to do. I wasn't objecting to the deep cleaning. I was objecting to the lack of analysis, like quoting me pricing without actually looking in my mouth was weird to me. And that was confirmed when I went to a second dentist who she spent probably 45 minutes detailing my teeth, looking at everything that needed to get done, and say, then referring me to a specialist to get a deep cleaning because for measurements and stuff like that, because they had measured how much buildup I had, and to prevent gum disease from going any further and any kind of things. I had to, that's what a deep cleaning, by the way, is fun. It is, they actually scrape underneath your gums. So they go in and basically take out all the shit that's been building up for 20 years, because that's what happens when you don't go to a dentist for 20 years, when you don't go at least once a year and get a cleaning. And as annoying as it is, the reason that you need to do it is because if you don't, it builds up, and then bad shit happens. And it seems counterintuitive because You're like, why would I feel no pain, nothing's happening, but I feel like this buildup is protecting me and holding my teeth together. And if you take it off, all my teeth will fall out, which and I ended up losing one of my teeth because it was too far gone. Um, Before I even got the deep cleaning. So it was like I'm like, I it's all started because I started getting pain in one tooth, and here I am 6 months later. I'm missing two teeth now. I didn't have that many left, and now I'm getting this deep cleaning, and I don't know, it's going to make my teeth all sensitive, which it does, and for a little bit afterwards. And it's like, what the fuck am I doing? Why? Well, the reason is because you don't want gum disease, and you don't want that. You have to get it all out of there so that you know what you have left, and then you can move forward to salvaging and saving what you have left. But the bottom line is this: you you have to find you have to find a dentist that actually takes the time to look at what's going on and that has a plan. And then you also have to brush and floss every day. That would be nice. That would be nice to remember to do. I kind of wish I would have done that. Although it's kind of hard to consider, when you think about the past. You tend to not, when you come home blackout drunk, you tend to not go, I'm going to go pass out in my clothes. Hang on a minute, I've got the floss. It's one of the downsides. And then there's the whole heroin thing. Very you typically don't have the best hygiene when you're a drug addict. So my advice is, if you're going to be an alcoholic and a drug addict, try to at least take care of your teeth. That's an absurd thing to say. That was on purpose. You're not going to. But anyway, there's a reason that you can spot, you know, you can look at people's teeth and go, you either currently have a problem with drugs or you used to. It's just a telltale sign. But if somebody, if your dentist tells you you need to get a deep cleaning, um, and you have insurance, it's going to be a pain in the ass. But get a credit card. You know, save up. It's necessary. You're going to need to do it, or don't, and just be like, I'll put all that money towards dentures. And let me tell you, anybody who has dentures will tell you, totally worth it. They love them. It's their favorite thing. Everyone older than me that has them has told me, boy, I love these. This was a great idea. Oh man, I how am I going to do this without sounding bitter? Because I'm not bitter. When you do something for so long and then you stop doing it, it is funny to me because it sometimes, because people will ask me, what do you think of this comedian? What do you think of that comedian? And I have to remind them that I don't like comedy. Excuse me, I don't like stand up comedy. I just don't. It's like, didn't you used to be a comedian? Yeah. And if you do something for 25 years, 27 years, whatever it was, you're not going to like it. Or the only things that you're going to like are the exceptional people in that field. Everything that most people will consider good, you think is trash because of your experience, because of your knowledge. because you've been around it too much. It's not fresh anymore. You something exceptional has to actually catch your eye, otherwise you're not part of it. And the thing about it is that anything new or new directions of it, you can spot what they're doing, and it takes any kind of magic out of it. There are, so I have not seen anybody new. There's been a couple people that I've seen that that are getting some traction that I think deserve it. I don't particularly like their comedy, but I understand, but I get it. I get how that's good. The only exception to that, the only new comedian that I like and I'm impressed and in awe of is Josh Johnson, and he's not even new, but like he's the newest, as in he's in his 30s, probably the only comedian in his 30s that I like. And but outside of that, I'm just like, I don't. It's not, and it's I'm old and I'm gonna like old shit. I like older comedians, and but the thing is that what sucks about stand up is the fact that it used to mean more when you used to. One of the things I used to like about it is you liked the unique voices and perspectives. You liked a lot of things that you would hear comedians say was refreshing because you didn't get to hear those perspectives or those opinions normally. But unfortunately, everybody has a platform and can have a platform. It's good and bad. The bad part about it is that everybody has an opinion and everybody has a platform, and it all just comes at you, which is why you think that the world's going to shit, because you're getting bombarded with everybody with very strong opinions because they talk to their phone like you talk to people in traffic. Unfiltered. Like, thankfully, a lot of people will edit themselves and go, "Oh, I shouldn't say that. That shouldn't go out into the world permanently." For everybody to be able to pull up later. But a lot of, I mean, that's why all comments on videos or Twitter or threads or Facebook posts or any of that thing, people are basically saying the same kind of shit that you say when you're stuck in traffic and you're cursing out somebody in a fucking BMW for being an asshole. And that's like being put out there, and there's no backseas. And you really should, I feel, there should be some kind of service that you pay for where if you post something, you get a 24-hour delay. Except that, and it's like, well, I don't, yeah, but it's in the moment. By the time it posts, it'll be too late and it'll be dated, and I won't be the first one to make the comment. And well, but it might protect you from getting, from basically the social media version of a bad tattoo. They're really, sometimes I think that you need to, somebody needs to protect you from you. And unfortunately, at this point, it's too late. At this point, the things, thank God, I think people are finally kind of over it and going, I don't want to do this anymore. And, at least instead they're doing, I think it's funny when everybody wants you to like and subscribe. Everybody's got a channel. Everybody wants to be this center of attention. Well, you can't. Not everybody has the talent to be the center of attention. We shouldn't all have an audience. I mean, and we don't. it's it's like there's a lot of OnlyFans models. There's not a lot of them making money. They pretend they're making money because that's what you have to do. You have to fake it till you make it, but you know they're not. There's a ton of them. There's a ton of YouTubers. There's a ton of comedians. There's a ton of musicians, and that field's fucked because nobody pays for music anymore. Um, and it's but I think that that's the thing, is that everybody can get their opinion out there, and man, it was better when it was just kind of when it was more difficult to do so. And I think that that's when, at least in the stand-up world, it was refreshing to see people say things that you didn't normally see in mainstream, and you're like, whoa, all right, George Carlin. And people were given a voice through the comedian. They're like, yes, and make it funny, make a good point. You're being funny, but you're making a good point too. And and now it's like, it's not who gives a shit if you're making a point. It's like everybody's making points. Most of them are bad, very bad points, or most of them are very jilted towards one side. It's like they had so many people. Like, I would say 3/4 of the points being made out there, of the opinions. I'm serious. Like a heavy 75% of the perspectives out there. The problem is that they sense they're picking up on something that's wrong. They know, like they smell hypocrisy, or they know that something's not right about it, but then they can't argue why. They're not they can't, what I'm much like me speaking right now, they can't convey exactly how they're feeling. They're like pausing, and they just sit there, except that they're typing it out. They're just blah. It's like a shotgun of thoughts and emotions, because it's all emotion fueled. And it's just like, it's for example, if a lot of the shitty comedy right now is, people think that because they want to be edgy, they want to push the envelope, they want to do jokes you're not supposed to, even though there's it's we just want them to be funny. They think it's the pushing the envelope. I'm gonna be edgy by doing this kind of joke, and because I don't believe that punching down is real. Funny is funny. Now, the problem with that is not whether something's funny or not, doesn't have anything to do with whether you're attacking and bullying somebody, belittling somebody. So when people pick up on, they find something morally reprehensible by somebody's off-color joke, their argument is to come back and say that's not funny, which that's not the argument you need to be making, because you don't find it funny. Other people do. But that's not the problem with the joke. Or they sit there and they talk about how punching down is bad, which it is, except that they don't define punching down correctly. What they do is they think that you have instead of, somebody is picking on somebody weaker than them, who is defensive and who doesn't deserve it. but instead of saying it's because that individual shouldn't be doing that to that individual, that guy's being a bully. Fuck that guy. They put it in demographics and um, that basically they're categories, and they're saying, well, who you are, a person who's your type can't pick on this person. You can't make fun of that person because that person is a woman, or that person is a different race than you. And society wise, your race is less um, that it's gets less shit than that race. Then that's the whole thing. More, you can't make a joke about that person because they're in a marginalized group, and that's bullshit. Because if somebody's being an asshole, that's what then you can treat them as such, as an individual. That's not the problem. The problem is not that you're picking on somebody who's a different color than you. The problem is that you're making a joke about somebody who is a different color than you. And you can't sell it because you suck at comedy and you're trying to make it funny. But we can sense that your intent is not to joke, hey, I'm joking around with my buddies, because that person's not your buddy. You're picking on them. You're bullying them. You're belittling that person. And that's the problem. The problem is that individual saying that individual. And I think that trying to make rules is why that makes other people push back on it and go, no, these are just jokes. There is no punching down. Well, there is punching down. It's just not what these people are telling you. These people are trying to make rules about what punching down is. You know it when you see it. And that's the problem. The problem is that your emotional reaction to somebody insulting another person as a quote unquote joke, but you can tell the power dynamic. You can tell that person versus that person, and it's uncalled for. And so you come at them and you're like, hey, you can't do that. Instead of attacking them, you're being an asshole. I know you think you're making a joke, but you're not. You are making a joke, but you think it's funny, and people in your group think it's funny, but that's still, bullies think they're hilarious. It's still bullying. It's still You're still picking on somebody weaker than you. That's what being a bully is. You're like, oh, I'm making a joke. Yeah, but the fact that you can't sell that to people outside of your demographic of other bullies, the fact that you as a bully can't make non-bullies laugh means you're bad. You're a bad comedian. And that's the real problem. It's not that you can't punch down, it's that you can't sell it. And you're defending yourself like you're defending comedy, when in fact what you need to be doing is working on your craft or quitting and going to do something else. Because you suck. You're a bad comedian. And that is everybody at the comedy mothership. Everybody below a certain level. Some headliners too. Owner of the club as well. There are really good comics who are headlining at the comedy mothership. But the gatekeepers are just hangers-on people, these fucking nobodies who are just fucking bullies and shitty comedians. You're at this little level that you don't know the names of. Maybe you've seen the name. Unless you're a comedian, you probably don't know who they are. Maybe you've seen a couple names, and some of them will rise a little bit, get a little bit of fame, but then that'll be it. But they're all the same. They do the same jokes. They have the same mentality. They're all kiss ass bullies, and they all suck. And unfortunately, fucking Rogan spent all that money to make himself a little clubhouse, but a lot of it, there's a lot of that money and a lot of those resources going to waste on fucking talentless bully hacks. And that's unfortunate, but also kind of funny. So, like I said, I'm not bitter about it. It's just what I see it. I see it. So, it's unfortunate. But fortunately, people are kind of tired of comedy. So a lot of these assholes are going to quit and they're going to be YouTubers or they're just going to have to go get a real job. Maybe they'll move back. Probably can't get back to New York or California or wherever else they were failing at and thinking that they could get a shortcut by moving here to Austin, Texas. But hopefully they'll move away. Maybe there'll be a new hotspot. They're like, no, I'll tell you where it's at. Denver's where it's at. We're going to go to Denver. We're going to go to Atlanta. Hey, Nashville is where it's at. Nashville's got a booming comedy scene, I hear, and you just got to be clean. So, you know, you can keep the same material, but just kind of clean it down and make it more, just make it a little bit more for the, rednecks. Talk about your truck or whatever. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, they're still good. There's still a few great comics. They're just getting old. I'm sure there'll be more that emerge. I'm sure there's some out there. It's just don't ask me about them. I don't know who they are or care. There's a lot of great new artists, music artists though. It says the problem is that you just have to hunt for them. You have to really really look because there's a lot of auto-tune AI bullshit out there, and it's but you'll there's good artists out there. I'll give you one, Eka Vandal. She's not really all that new either. She's been around for probably about a decade, but she's emerging right now, and she's fucking fantastic. Stillsoberpod at gmail.com for any questions or comments that are positive to neutral. We'll see you next week. All right, later.